What's up, everybody? What's going on, everybody? This is Roxrite. Here we are for the live session today. What I'm gonna be doing is basically just getting down with y'all. Come join in. This is the Roto BC1 training session going live with your boy Roxrite, representing the Renegades Squadron, Roto BC1 All-Stars. I'm gonna try and share with you guys a lot of different things. It's more to the way that I train, the way that I dance, and just like kind of the way I develop my movements and things that have helped me throughout my years. Para todos los B-Boys de Latinoamérica, aquí estamos para la sesión en vivo y directo conmigo sobre cómo entreno, cómo bailo y cómo creo mis movimientos y invento todas las cosas que hago en el baile, de combinaciones de freezes y todo. Entonces, bienvenidos todos. Everybody welcome, jump in. I'm gonna be basically just sharing everything that I can. Little session, get some beats going, get some moves moving, and yeah, tune in, guys, tune in. Cool. All right, so what I'm gonna do right now basically is start off with just top rocks, just kind of get a little bit of a groove going, start loosening up. Go. So just jump in with me. What I want y'all to do, basically just start with some tops, do some light footwork, and then we'll get into some concepts, things that I utilize to warm up. Top rocking is the best exercise to get your blood flowing, and just to, you know, you don't want to overkill yourself. You know, dancing for 25 years now, one thing that I've learned is to always stay consistent, but when you warm up, get in tune with the music first, get into the groove, play with the beats, and just have a good time. Everybody joining in also. Oh, there we go, so many Latinos, yeah. Drop a comment. If you have any questions as well, feel free to ask. If there's anything you want to learn or anything specific you want to know about, just let me know. Drop a line, drop a question, and we'll go from here. All right, so I'm gonna keep warming up a little bit more, and then we'll get to some of my first concepts and things that I utilize. All right. All right, here's your first exercise, all right? To start off, to warm up and loosen up your body, what to do is like a forearm stand, so. from the side, when you turn to the side, we're gonna go like this. Arms here, straight. Those are some of the simple things that I do to loosen up my shoulders before I get down, because the last thing you want to get is a shoulder injury. We're talking about strength development, proper warm-ups, and all of that. What's up, Brazil? What up, what up? There we go, Philippines. Thanks for joining in, everybody. Again, if you have any questions, drop a comment. Let me know what you want to learn or any specific thing. Right now, I'm just showing you guys simple warm-ups that I utilize to have my blood flowing and all the moves start connecting as I start dancing more and more, okay? So those are two basic freezes that I use. Handstands just to warm up, get the shoulders loosened up, forearm, and if you can combine both, when you combine both, that usually helps a lot as well to start developing more control. So these are common questions I get as to what I do to develop control and freezes, flow, and all of that, all right? So here's another one here. That's a warm up for you guys to get comfortable with stab and freezes, all right? What you should try is basically doing this. Bon dia. So what you're doing is utilizing both sides. You're learning how to control both sides on your freezes. To start small, we start like this. If you don't feel comfortable doing it, if you can't do it in the air, you do it with your feet on the ground, all right? So give it a shot. What's up? First question that I'm gonna answer today is from Marion. He said, is it easiest if you put your head on the floor for a freeze? Definitely. So for more control, the base of breaking and the base of freezes starts with your head. So if you learn your freezes, your head we always utilize our head to have a better balance and more control for our weight to shift. So again, head always helps most. So that way you can easier transition. So when you utilize your head, you're definitely gonna have better balance, more control. You're gonna be able to move around a lot easier. The challenge for you guys is to do your favorite freezes without utilizing your head, so that way you start to develop more strength, you know? Remember guys, a lot of B-boys have been asking how do I develop control and strength in freezes, right? So that's something that you guys have always asked me. And it starts with simple stuff like that. So remember, try your basic combos. We'll start with some basic combos right now. And it would be just with your head. The whole time, you keep your head on the ground. So to develop more control and just have more strength when you do it, it's about not utilizing your head. So if you're here, so for those of you guys watching, try stuff like that. Don't use your head to develop more arm control and more strength, so you're able to stop yourself in better ways. Of course, you know, at first you learn how to use your head and everything, so it's important to take your time to develop. So remember guys, play with it, combine them, and then just keep adding on, you know? So I'm gonna show another basic little, it's not little or basic actually, it's more advanced. So air babies are a freeze that is very commonly used by a lot of B-boys. So as you guys know what an air baby is, or we call it the Kenny. See? So the Kenny, the reason they call it that is Ken Swift's the innovator of that freeze. So what we're gonna do now is find ways to utilize that freeze. So this is a freeze without your head. It's for control. So what I want you to try is both angles. So you're gonna take your knee here and go up. So this one's just an advanced little combo for y'all. So what I want you to do is start with your left or with your right, depending on which one you're stronger with. Keep your head off the ground. And then you go to an air baby. So again, that's a basic combo that you can play with. And it's a way for you to develop a different type of control and kind of a different angle to get into an air baby and utilize it. So another thing guys, when you use freezes, think about them as steps and not just a move, right? So when you utilize them, if you use them as steps, like you're still playing with the music when you're top rocking, it's a good way to stay within the rhythm and add combinations of freezes that look more rhythmic and on steps. So if you were to, for example, if you were to play with the beat, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if you use them as steps, as you saw, it's like you can stay more in rhythm. So that's a way for you to play with the songs and keep the rhythm of tops to footwork to freezes going, right? So if you were to jump into it, if you're here, so as you saw when I got into the freeze combination. What you're doing is you're following your rhythm already. 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 4. So when you go down, it'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if you use them as steps, remember, it becomes more of a continuation of dance. It's no longer just a freeze, 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 freeze. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, and 8. So there you're able to keep your freezes going in rhythm. And that's where you start adding freeze frames in combination of freezes that are more unique. Because everybody can do a lot of the same freezes nowadays, but it's about how you incorporate them with the music, how you get into them, and how you get out of them. So 3 levels to utilizing the dope freeze. Transitions, but staying in the music as well is very, very important, guys. So that's some basic freeze stuff that I like to share with you guys. I love doing freezes, as y'all know, but it's a thing that takes time. So remember, another way to develop freezes is to stay in those positions that you want to be breaking in. So when you're breaking and you're learning something, like if you're learning a freeze, practice the freeze by itself, just the same way that you do head spins, the same way that you do windmills. That's how you do it. Did I do warm-ups? Yeah, I was warming up already a little bit before I started the class, but I'm going over the ideas of what I do to warm up. So those are just basic like footwork concepts that you could play with, you know. There's many different ways to warm up for everybody. It depends on what you like. All right, guys, I'm gonna take you guys to a different example of warming up. So another type of warm up, mad twos. So the twos, I was only counting the twos, but when you're actually doing your combinations, it's like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Like you can play with it the same way that you top rock. Remember, you're utilizing your steps and the counts. So you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1 and 2, 3 and 4. And the same way that you do that in your freezes. So now I'm gonna show you guys a different type of way for me to warm up. I really enjoy it. And as I do it, I'm gonna share with you guys different concepts, okay? So the next thing that I do to warm up a lot of the time is back rock. So back rocking to me is something that I love doing. It's very important. It helps transitions, it helps develop flow, continuity in your dance, okay? So what I want you to do right now, for those of you guys that can break and are watching or are dancing as well, basically what I want you to do is just do a full round of back rocks. So I'm gonna show you an example, and as I show you, I'll come back and share with you insights on back rocks. Try it out, do some back rocking so you can play with it more. So those are some basic back rocks. And that's how you gotta just play with it. I like the call outs. Beat going faster, yeah, the beat's going faster. It might be the internet or just the song itself, guys. So with back rocks, just have fun. Don't be so serious, don't focus so much on specific heavy moves. When you're doing it, start with your more basic steps, right? So your most basic steps is basic CC. So a lot of times when you're breaking, like what you're doing is like, say you're doing footwork, right? So footwork, say you do this step here. All right, I can go here. That's a basic way for you to play with levels and transitions. So when you're doing it, try that example right there. This is a very simple warm-up, simple exercise for you to like play with levels, footwork, and back rocks. So what you do from the side angle, you take CC, switch, CC. But so you can see this angle, I'm gonna use my right shoulder. So we're gonna start with this one. CC, switch, CC, drop, CC, switch, CC, up, CC, switch, CC, CC, switch, CC, up. So when you're going down, it's like you're breaking down your arm. Boom. So the fall and the impact is very minimal. So you're here, CC, down, pop. Not to go back up. When you go back up, you come down, switch legs, get your arm ready in the form, up. So this is a good way for you to utilize your legs to get up. So when you go to your side, you go CC, down, extend. So any questions? Yeah? We'll be going over more and more moves. This is just the start. See, I'm already warmed up. Well, all right, let me see. Can I do knee spins? No, I can't. Let me see. All right, so good question, guys. Back rock to freezes. All right. So back rocking to freezes, it's infinite, right? So back rocking, there's so many ways. Actually, let me go over one more step and then I'll teach you guys how to utilize a back rock into a freeze or something. So with steps that you do, like for example, we take the step there. Right? Now, what I want you to do is try the same step, but on your shoulder and your back. So when you're here, use your hands too. Your hands are important. Switch, boom, back, boom. So as you see, I'm using my hands here to help me shift my weight. Got it? A little bit? Does it work? Give it a try. Saludos a todos los vivos de Latinoamérica. Traten esos pasos. Son las cosas básicas para jugar con los niveles. Y son cosas de back rock y footwork. So back rocking and footwork is a very simple way to learn how to utilize your body to transition on all levels. A lot of B-boys, they get caught up and breaking just into dimensions. You know, if you look at some of the best b-boys in the world that are constantly out there, or even the most innovative, they have really good control on their back, and they know how to utilize a lot of transitions. And when they get on their back and start doing back movements, they're very comfortable in being on their back. A lot of b-boys that are not, you can tell, they start to look sloppy. They don't look like their movements continue the motion, so it's very, very important for you to play with that. Okay, so now I'm gonna go to the questions that y'all were asking, okay? So I'm gonna keep it in flow of what I'm actually doing. So I started with like just warming up, tops, handstands, elbow stands, some back rocks, some basic freeze combinations, exercises to help you on both sides. So if you guys missed that, remember you can go back and watch this. So back rocks into freezes. All right, so many ways, right? So here's an example. When you're here, grab my foot, continue. Boom. That's an example to get creative with something like that, right? Now, the most basic way is when you're doing backs, finding ways to stop yourself. So I wanted to go here, come around, come back, back. Also, carrying your momentum into a stop is what's gonna help you really be able to stop yourself with shifting weight. For example, if you saw I'm here and I kick back, stop, stop, down, back, back, boom, boom, boom. You're able to just adapt and move. So what I want you to do is pick one of your strong freezes. So say for example, we're gonna use a plank as an example, okay? Everybody knows what a plank is? A plank is this. That's your plank. So we're gonna utilize that into a transition, all right? So, and then back to a freeze. So, basically going from top to your back to another transition. Always pick a freeze that you know you can do, something that you feel strong in. From there, find ways to stop yourself. It's all in your momentum. You have to find your hands, everything. So when I mean what you find your hands, it's like if you're here, hands. I'm like, okay, where can I go from here? I'm gonna go stand, freeze. So I know that I can pick it up there. Maybe I wanna go somewhere else. Maybe I'm here, and I'm like, oh damn, where do I go? I'm gonna go underneath, and then I'm gonna go to my head. So try to get creative, have fun, roll around, find your movements, find your freezes that you like to do. If you like doing hammerbacks, get creative, you know, find ways to get into it. As I'm showing you, these are just examples as to how to go into something from back rocking, which was one of the questions that I got. And remember guys, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. Specific moves, anything you want to know about, let me know. What's up, India? What up, Minnesota? What's up, what's up? Okay. It is pretty hot though, guys. I hear blazing. Some water. All right. What else do you guys want to know? Let me see. What do you think is more important? Well, don't freeze transition, technique, or strength? basically it depends on how you're moving and how you move yourself. It's a bit of both. Strength only comes when you need to lift yourself up and stop completely. Transitions is a lot more easier to go into a freeze. You gotta find it. So play with it, and it's a good way for you to get more in tune with moving around on all levels. Let me see, John asks, can you show a basic transition from back rock to CC to mills or halo? Okay, all right, I'll do that. I'm gonna show you a quick example. Para todos los vivos de Latinoamérica, voy a usar un ejemplo de back rock para transición de footwork y halos o un movimiento de power, okay? That's a basic transition for you to go into a move. So what I used was a body sweep to a halo. Simple steps that we already do in breaking, but utilizing them into power or transitions is important. Any other questions, guys? Let me see. On the challenges. Ooh, yeah, I'm gonna have to do some more challenges. All right, so that was back rocks. Let me see what else. All right, so I'm gonna answer one question because I'm so sweaty right now, but I'm gonna get back to impact freezes after this. So let me see, we got Rimo. What's for your complete set in battle? Up rock, go down, forward, transitions, freeze. Yeah, I mean, you know, when you battle, whether you battle in a cypher or in a contest, there's different ways because the battles are a little different. In a cypher or just a complete round is for you to come in and fully show your whole thing. So say I come in, yeah, I'm gonna come in, top. Most of the time you can top. If you don't want to top, you start with an intro, go into a move. But if I'm just like top rocking, then I think of one move to go down. So I want to go boom, boom, boom. So there's one movement already. So I'm going top, boom. You're doing tops, getting into it, your presentation. But then I'll go to my first move to go down, boom, boom, boom. Then from there, I want to use footwork steps that are creative. So I have to find ways So that would be a very simple round. When you stop and go 1, 2, 3, freeze, you know, you pick your moves. So yeah, a complete round is when you start adding like tops, footwork, transitions, go downs, get creative. Your run has to be very well put together. All right. Yeah, rock steady crew footwork, damn. Historic, right? Roxrite University will be available soon. I had to take a step back and get more creative with my teachings. Let me see. Any other question, guys? All right. Now I'm gonna get into concepts. So, okay, I'll catch up with Marvin. I'll go over that in a bit. What I'm going to talk about now is impact freezes. I should have brought more shirts. I'm super sweaty, guys. I hope you guys are enjoying the class or just the session. I'm trying to just show you concepts and things I play with while I practice. I do everything I practice. I don't have regulated practices where I do, you know, today I'm just gonna do footwork or tomorrow I'm gonna just do power. Like every time I practice, I have to experiment with all levels of breaking, power, footwork, transitions, just grooving, just creating, like it's all elements. It's never one dimensional. So, but also that has to do with experience too, guys. So it's up to you. Make the best of it at practice. Don't waste too much time. I feel like I'm talking a lot, but yeah. Okay, cool down a little bit. All right, so what I'm gonna talk about now is an impact freeze and how you use a freeze to have impact. Freezes are very simple, right? So if you take an impact freeze, it's a sudden stop from movement, right? So if you were to be doing all your movement and then you just stop out of nowhere, that's gonna have impact. So an impact freeze usually is something that you would do from top to bottom. I mean, from bottom to top. So for example, if I want to have a little bit of an impact on it, let's say I go from here. So I use momentum to throw myself into a freeze, right? Another one that's very common, a lot of people use it, is, a lot of people use air chairs now. So if you want to have impact, for me, something I utilize is movement leading up to the stop. So if I'm here, it'd be like 1, 2, boom. When you're doing it fast, it looks different. So you're able to just play with the angles, get open. So an impact freeze, for those of you guys at home, what I want you to do is pick 3 freezes. Pick 2 strong freezes, but your strongest freeze has to be the impact freeze. So for example, 2 freezes and an impact freeze. So if I were to do, for example, this, 1, 2, 3. The third one, that one looked a little weak and it felt a little weak, so I have to find ways to get more strong for it. So I have to stop myself completely. So 1, 2, 3. Very basic, nothing too complicated. Another one would be, for example, go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's one that I use commonly, but you can play with different ways to do it, right? So it could be like 1, 2, 3, 4. So the most basic way for you to do that would be to pick 3. But you can actually do more if you want. You can do 5, 6. Just remember that the last freeze has to be your strongest freeze because that's what's gonna leave the impact. So when you see us like doing a bunch of little freezes, right? For example, let me see. Yeah, let me see. Okay, for example, we take, you start here, you go, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right here. I picked the last one because that's a different type of freeze that I can utilize that has a bit of an impact. Even though I use a transition to get into it, get creative, play with all the different freezes you got. Pick 3 freezes, guys. Remember the last one has to be your strongest freeze, all right? Any other questions? So a guy earlier, I need another one. This is mad sweaty now. I need another shirt. I'll get another one. All right. Have a good night, man. All right. Let me see. So earlier a question that I got was, how old am I? I'm 38 years old. I've been breaking for 25 years for those of you that don't know. I've been competing actively for, a long time, 20 years. But yeah, it's been a journey, but for me it's about enjoying my dance, enjoying my movement, not being too forceful, too militant, too robotic. It's about just enjoying the dance, the development, the battle. To stay on top of that, you definitely have to stay fit. You have to stay, eating healthy, staying on top of stretching, exercising outside of dance, dancing a lot, which is your number one priority. You need to work out. It's cool if you like to work out, it's totally fine, but you gotta remember that to be good at breaking, you gotta break. So you gotta come back to the dance, develop in the dance, get comfortable in the dance, mature your style, develop your style. So there's nothing wrong with working out, benefits to it, but if you're a b-boy, your priority in development is breaking. Your working out should be minimal and your breaking should be the most, That way you don't burn yourself out, and that's what I do. For me, yes, I work out. It's something that I love doing. I enjoy it, but not as much as breaking. So the workouts I do are something small to help me stay in strength, develop strength, stay healthy, and come to breaking more and develop more in breaking. All right, guys, so any questions regarding any other moves? If not, I'm gonna just keep it moving to other concepts. All right? Yeah, it's hot in here. Hacemos calor aquí. All right. So something I like to do is basically do some windmills sometimes, develop basic power, Ground power is very important in breaking. When you do it and you get good at it, it's good for transitions. And as you see me speak and you hear me speak, I keep saying the word transition a lot, and what I do, power for me was the base to develop transitions. And that's how I ended up developing ways to get into moves in more creative ways. All right, so we'll do some windmills right now, different concepts. It's like a sweat box in here, guys. So I'm gonna play with like a warm-up. So what I'm gonna do is different variations of windmills. You got windmills with your hands, which is this one. So as you saw, I was using my hands. Then you got windmills where you don't use your hands or your head. You just hop on your shoulders. That's another version of windmills. So you're hopping on shoulders. Then you got your infamous head mills. I like to play with all these to warm up and just get used to keeping control in those moves. So here's some head mills right here. So can y'all do all those? So now I'm gonna show you some exercises on how to do them. So for windmill in general, something that is very, very crucial is your leg movement. I recommend you understand this. So if you're gonna do it, learning how to do this here with your back. What that's gonna do is basically give you an understanding of how to use your legs. For a lot of you guys that have already started breaking and are advanced, this is probably basic to y'all, but for some of you up and comers, this is a different way for you to learn it. So if you're gonna stab in, if you're doing this and you're struggling to get over, here, leg up, baby. So a lot of the struggles that I see when it comes to that is people, they try to just go all the way over. You have to actually stop yourself a little bit so you learn how to use it. So when you do it with your hands again, guys, here, you start here, legs up, back, stop. When you go on your back, you have to do a little bit of a spin. You have to spin just enough. Spin, rotate. So again, remember when you did it, when we do the kick, you're spinning a little bit as well. So it's so when you go into it, if you're here, it's stop. So your legs have to follow each other. Is that, you guys getting a little bit? That's your basic windmills with stabbing. Which was the hardest? I think the hardest is the hopping one, where you just go from shoulder to shoulder. Kuriaki did them in Beat Street. That's the first time I seen him. He was in Rocksteady there. To me, it blew my mind how he did it. But I'm gonna try and give you guys tips as to how I learned all those different concepts. You got so many variations of windmills. Very basic move, but it's the base for a lot of ground power and just speed and control from your back. All right, so again, when you're doing your windmill, guys, remember, if you can't get over, try to stop yourself in a baby. So go over, baby, baby. All right, so now I'm gonna try and share with you guys my tips on head mills. So for head mills, you guys know what head mills are. There's different ways to do head mills as well. And the way that I learned how to do like proper head mills was I learned how to use one side of my head first. So this is the first way I learned how to do head mills was this. I used to go. So as you saw, I would use my head and push off my head once you got the windmill. So here, head. So if you do it continuous with just one side of your head, it's gonna look something like this. So you add a little bit of a bounce when you're using your head. It has a little bit of a hop to it. When you do that, that's a good way to develop nutcrackers, handcuffs, all the different windmill variations. What you're doing is you start the same way, and when you're here, you use your head to go over. So it'll be like head over. That's the way that I learned how to do. Before I learned continuous head mills, without my head getting off the ground, I learned how to bounce off of one side of my head. So once you get comfortable with that, then you start to learn like continuous, just staying on your head the whole time. And for those, you have to really stay back, and you gotta be very high on your upper back. So when you're high on your upper back, it'll be like, so for that, what you're doing is basically staying on your back. use the side of your head, roll, 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 roll. So obviously I use my knees there to give you an example of what your head does, but that's a simple exercise for you to do in back rocks to develop proper head mills. You're welcome, man. Thanks for tuning in. Marvin, what's up, Greece? What's the deal? Been a long time. All right, so when you're high on your windmills, guys, remember to get height, you have to stay on your upper back. You should never be doing windmills like here. This is too low. You're gonna hit your hip all the time. So for windmills to be high, you have to be up. So it should be low. You want to stay high on your back. You have to put your arms there to get your control. It's a good way to stay high, okay? So when you're high on your back, you use your head, you put your head down and rotate the shoulder, back, shoulder, back. But the whole time you gotta keep your head all on the ground to go around, all right? Something you gotta play with. So now, the ones that I like having fun with that are a little harder is your hopping ones. So when you're hopping, this is more advanced, but for me it's my right shoulder. I stay on my shoulder a little longer and I hop without using my head. So for this one, you're doing, so you see, I go here and I use my shoulder to push. So you hear, push, land. But you gotta keep your feet in the air. So that's shoulder to shoulder without your head. All right. All right, guys. Any more questions? Feel free to drop questions. Right now I'm just playing with windmill variations over here, sweating super hard, but enjoying the class. Hope you guys are having fun. Just trying to share with you guys a little bit of insight, different things I like doing, playing with my practice. So we'll see what's up. Let me see where the halo's at. Nah, I'm not doing halos right now. The floor. All right, so I'm gonna go over how to keep your head on the ground the whole time for your head mills. I'm gonna show you an exercise so you learn how to keep your head there, okay? So what you're doing is you're using one knee, your head's already on the ground, left knee, back, right knee, back, right knee, left knee, head, back. Right knee, left knee, head, back. So the whole time you're using your head, and that's exactly the same movement that you're gonna be doing in your head mills. You have to keep your head on the ground moving, but if you don't know how to even put your head on the ground, it's gonna be hard to develop. So these are baby steps to get to that full head mill without using your knees, you know? So if you learn how to windmill, and you learn how to utilize your back rock knee movements like that, and utilize your head through the whole movement, that's how you're gonna learn how to do a continuous type of head mill. All right, another question was, do I get wrist pain? Of course, man. Yes, it comes and goes throughout time, you know. As you dance, you're gonna wear yourself out, body starts to stiffen up, certain things tighten up, and that's where you start to get a little bit of strain and muscle ache. But it's very rare though, but yeah, you have to stay on top of your stuff, stretch a lot, guys. So that was your head mills, windmills, head mills, shoulder mills, straight from hop hop. All right, let me see, any other questions, guys? All right, I might just mess around a little bit, get some dance and moves going, play with concepts. I turn up the volume. What up? You guys good? It's so hot over here, man. All right, let me go over some more concepts in a bit, all right? Whew. Playing with concepts, guys. Just freestyling, nothing serious. I'm not trying to put on a show, I'm just trying to find concepts and movements to come up with new ideas. I gotta stay on top of my game to try and battle all these crazy young bucks. Just kidding, man. Inspirational, all you guys. Killing game, stay on it, keep pushing everybody, keep developing. I'm gonna keep playing a little bit more. I'm gonna come back and teach more concepts. Gotta flow, play. Gotta play with the move. All right, some elbow spins. All right, guys, so this is how I warm up to do an elbow spin, all right? Start off slow to get a feel for the floor, so you make sure you don't slip and kill yourself. But that's how I like to start for it. And then I'm gonna try and do more spins. That's all I can do right now. How many of y'all do you practice by yourself? How many of you guys practice solo on your own? Especially right now during these times, I know you gotta find ways to motivate on your own and just play with it on your own. So if you guys practice on your own, you gotta keep the drive alive. You know, music, other inspirations, other people that dance. Just find motivation, you know? Get creative, have fun with it, challenge yourself in ways you normally don't. All right. We have a good question from Prince Yadav. He's asking me, what is flow to me? So flow is the way you normally dance as an individual. You know, I think we label flow as a certain style of breaking where people have to find continuous connections in their dance, and you know, they use a lot of background transitions and everything. But the flow is how you make your dance look effortless. You know, how you're moving in and out of your moves. Maybe you don't use your back, but you have a nice flow in your footwork. You got a nice flow into your power. So these type of things are the things that give your style flow. And if you feel like you're too robotic or you're stopping yourself too much in your movement, it's also a process. You have to know and be aware of how to find different steps and transitions that will make your movement look more continuous, right? So if you do feel like you're getting stuck all the time, practice just going through the movement. So if you're constantly stuck, if you just find ways to continuously move, like just finding the continuous motion helps a lot. So you saw I just started connecting step, 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 step. There was never like a concept that I had to stick with. It was constant movement. If I'm stuck this way, I gotta turn this way to keep moving. If I get stuck that way, then I turn the other way to keep moving. So you have to constantly just keep the movement going and keep it alive. So flow is based on how well you're able to move from move to move without struggling. Let me see. Let me see. Any more questions, guys? Man, that's a good question, but it's too sweaty in here for me to do 90s. I end up killing myself. All right, guys, I'm gonna do a few more minutes. I'm gonna show you one more little exercise, and then I'm gonna be done. All right, before I go try this exercise out, this step is something really cool. So to learn how to do power and footwork together, you have your two-step and a sweep. Two-step is this. 1, 2, sweep. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Right? That's your two-step. Now, we're gonna add a windmill to that step to make it look like one move, okay? This is a very old school thing. The dopest one that I saw when I was young was flip rock in Beat Street. It's like the Elvis go down. So what you're doing is sweep, right? 1, 2, sweep, windmill. 1, 2, sweep, windmill. 1, 2, 1, 2, 2. That's a basic way for you to learn how to go in and out of power effortlessly and in a more smooth transitional way where you can make it something special or make a move out of that, you know? That's something that I saw as a kid. And then I tried to learn how to do that because he made, in Beat Street, this guy just made it look so dope. And it's something that has always stuck to my way of breaking. So that's something I wanted to share with you guys so you can try and do it yourself. For all the new faces, one more time for you guys. It's like a sauna in here. Extra little boost, guys. All right, again. Two-step is this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now when you throw the windmill in that, it's gonna look a little bit different. So I'm gonna move back further so I don't kill myself. So here, what you're doing is 1, 2, sweep, windmill. 1, 2, sweep, windmill. 1, 2, 1, 2. For those of you guys at home, try that out. See how it works for you. And that's one of the most important ways to go into power, or at least basic ground power. All right, so check it out. Whew. So what you're doing is you're taking the sweep as a way to throw you into the move and get your momentum and flow and speed on it. So same thing for backspin. Back to two-step. But when you do it with the windmill, it has a better continuation look and it'll feel more natural. So play with the levels, guys. Try to step out. I'll take some questions now, guys. As you can see, we out here struggling in this heat. So, I'm living in LA right now, and it's been a crazy summer. It's been super hot. Other questions, guys? Yeah, exactly. How to throw down to backspin from standing. All right, I'm gonna show you guys again the concepts, just to make sure some of you guys get it. For those of you guys that came in late, I like to break down a little bit of the history, where I got it from. I don't know where they got it from, I just know where I first saw it. So the step I'm gonna show you right now is a two-step into a windmill. The first person I seen do this was Flip Rock in the movie beat street, or it's the one that stood out to me. The way he did it, it was like, oh, that looks really ill, you know? So ever since then, I've always learned how to throw my backswings from there, my freeze combinations. So I'm gonna do it just 2 windmill, the way I saw it. So again, for you guys tuning in, it's 2-step, 2 windmill, continuous. So what you're doing, you're here, you're gonna go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, right? That's your 2-step. If you can't do your 2-step, learn how to do that first. Next comes your sweep windmill. So if you're here, 1, 2, sweep, windmill, 1, 2, sweep, windmill, 1, 2. You guys got it now? All right, and then I had one more question. One more question comes from, this question is for a movement. How to do top to backspin from standing up top. So for something like that, you're open to try what you want or different variations. But for me, what I learned was just, for backspin, what I learned was to be here. Like if I'm gonna go to a windmill. So you can do one hand, you can do no hand. So but I think the way to make it look more creative is to find a unique way to get into it where you can build speed fast. So that's just the most basic way, is just top, one hand throw, whatever you feel. You can do 2 hands, throw, many different levels, guys. It's up to you to find them as well, get creative. Now, feel free to ask me questions. I feel like I have to keep coming up really close to the phone because I want to be able to read what you guys are asking. Let me see. All right, so somebody asked about levels. What's my secret to changing levels? All right, I'll show you one. So one concept. As you guys, depending on how long you've been breaking, we have guys that are very good at utilizing both sides of their body. Left hand, right hand, handstand, both hands. You know, everybody's different. So I'm gonna try to do this for all levels. What you're doing to play with levels, it's always that we have to develop strength to push up. We're always pushing up, windmill 90, all these moves have impact. But most of the control is for you to develop real control and more strength, is to also learn how to break the move down. Go from top to middle, down, all the way to the bottom, okay? I'm gonna show 2 different exercises for that. So what we have is a handstand, right? To go down to start changing levels in your breaking. The most basic way is this. Hand, forearm, stab, back. Stab, forearm, handstand, right? Those are ways for you to start breaking everything down. But to get creative with it, you want to add form. Cross your legs, play with it. So right now I did handstand, forearm, stab, shoulder. You could also just do handstand, forearm, head, stab. That's another way for you to be able to go down. So I'm just picking one arm right now because I feel it'll be the easiest for you guys. So for those of you guys that are really good on one hand, pick that hand, whether it's your left or your right. You start, drop, drop. So you start from top to bottom. Again. Or you can go hand, forearm, here, head. up to you guys. You gotta play with it. But that's a very simple way for you to go down through your movements and have control, you know? So this is how you start to play with levels. Learn how to stand your hand, go down, down, down. So you're breaking your body down to get to your back. All right? All right, let me see. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thanks to Red Bull BC1 for having me host this. It's a pleasure to be here with y'all. I've been training a lot. I've been working out a lot. I've been training a lot. Just, you know, you don't have to, you just have to surprise people sometimes. But right now it's hot out here. Let me see. Guys, remember, feel free to ask any questions you might want to learn about or things, anything related to breaking, you know, that you maybe have questions about. We're going to be closing out the session in the next couple minutes. So let me see. All right, so I mean, I can't really do it right now, but the best way to develop power moves, at least from my perspective, one of the best things you could do in your breaking and to develop power is to start with ground power. Learn your back spins, learn your head spins, your windmills, your flares, you know, as many different variations of those kinds of moves, turtles, jackhammers, all those type of moves that are very ground-based. Learn that to develop speed and control. And I think at this point, so many people are learning air moves that are just out of this world too, you know? So it doesn't hurt to mix both worlds. Just don't get too lost doing one level, combine both levels, and I think it'll make you very special when you do power. Let me see. Okay, this guy asked Matthews, do you need to have good flexibility to be smooth in your moves, or just keep doing repetitions? You know, there's a lot of b-boys that aren't that flexible, surprisingly. You know, I'm not that flexible. I lost a lot of my flexibility as well, but a lot of it has to do with, running the move, learning the move, and your body just develops muscle memory to do it. So I think it helps to be flexible, of course. It's gonna make you be able to do other things that other guys can't, but I would say that no, you don't need to be super flexible to have a continuous good flow in your breaking. I think it's more or less how you approach the dance with your capabilities and your limits, and you're able to work around them and develop your style. I think that's what makes really good breaking, flow, transitions, everything, and an overall good b-boy. All right, guys, let me see. Again, if you have any more questions, guys, just feel free to ask. It's a pleasure to be here with y'all. Hope you guys have been staying on it, developing yourselves, and training a lot. Stay consistent, guys. That's how you get better. As far as, let me see. Have I done air flare? Yes, but it's been a long time, guys. Well, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much does it for today. Let me see. So with, okay, so how do you break down steps according to the music? I mean, with breaking it, there's different approaches. I'm only gonna say this here real quick, and then I'm gonna close it out, guys. You know, my era, where I come from, breaking wasn't taught in studios. We didn't learn breaking in counts. I didn't learn how to learn counts in music till maybe 6 years after my breaking, 5-6 years after I started breaking. So, you know, nowadays there's a lot of people that have developed the dance enough to where they're able to break down every step to counts. So you have different approaches to this. You have guys that count every count and do every step on the count. But then you have guys that like to flow to the music, which is more the approach that my generation, my era has, at least from some of the people that I've danced with, partnered up with, and just got down with throughout time. And it was about keeping a flow to the rhythm of the song and not necessarily trying to hit every drum or every count. So yeah, there's different ways to make this dance look dope, different ways to stay within the music for us at least, and that's what made it special as well, you know? So yeah, that's my approach to that for the guy that asked that. Para todos los b-boys de Latinoamérica, gracias por estar aquí conmigo. To everybody that tuned in, I just want to say thank you guys. Thanks for OBC1 again, guys. You guys have a good day. I hope you guys like some of the concepts I taught today. Go back, watch them, just play with them. And guys, have a good day, man. Peace out, y'all.